Mother makes her daughter suicidal because daughter is sick of being a parent to her sisters. So I've known this Karen, not her real name, my whole life. She's the type of person that complains about maxing out her credit cards and 3 days later books a holiday. She is also always bragging about how perfect her children are, even though her eldest raised them almost by herself. People involved in this are Karen, M, her oldest daughter, D, Karen's brother, U, and her daughter's boyfriend, BF. From the age of about 6, M made D look after her little sisters because M was always too busy with charity work. Me and all of the other friends D have always told her that she shouldn't put up with it, but she knew that if she didn't cook for her sisters, they'd eat cereal for dinner. I also suspect that she didn't think she deserved a social life because she'd been raised just to be a free babysitter, even when M was home. She got her BF about 4 months before things started kicking off. D started to stand up for herself. She didn't want to have to mother her siblings anymore. M started flipping out. D constantly had her phone taken off her and was never allowed out of the house. That was when M looked through the messages on D's phone. There was a conversation between her and a friend, where the friend offered her drugs but she refused. She also installed a tracker on D's phone so she always knew her location. D was in McDonald's when she had lessons scheduled, but instead of talking to about it, she screamed and shouted about how both were BF's fault. You spoke to her teachers and they said that they'd let her leave because she finished her work early. After that, every time D left the house, M sent her threatening and berating messages about how useless she is. M refused to even look at her when she was in the house. D became very depressed. She was actively planning her suicide while refusing to leave her room or even talk to anyone. You found out about this. He spent a whole day just getting her out of the house and into his car. She took only the essentials with her. You gave her a room in his house, but it still took over a month to get her to open up about everything. M still insists that BF is one of the worst people on the planet. He's probably the sweetest guy in the world. D wasn't going to have an 18th party, because you couldn't afford it, so he told his parents to use the money for his party on her instead. I think the worst part is that M turned up at US house on D's 18th birthday to give D a car and hope that she'd just forgotten what had happened. D just took the keys, mumbled a thanks and went back to her room. D and BF have been together for over a year now and are saving to buy an apartment together. She has nothing to do with M anymore and still texts her sisters regularly. TL. Dr. Mother makes her daughter suicidal because she's too lazy to actually be a parent. Then she thinks a car will fix everything. Edit, thank you kind stranger, for the silver. Edit 2, OMG a gold 2. Guys, I'm actually going to cry. Thank you. Wow, this is pretty much the story of my life, except that my mom would never give me a car. But yeah, she'd also buy gifts after she fucked up and expect me to just forget. Well, not even that. To this day she uses it as a way to tell me that my life is amazing because she gave me a few things, most of which she got for free. It's so upsetting to see people like Karen. They will use everything to make you feel like shit and like you're not worth anything. And when you open up about anything you just make it up to ruin Karen's life. LOL though, one time I ran away from home after she hit me because I didn't want to pick up my sister from school. Her school was next to mine and I stayed at home because I felt unwell. Note that I got bullied already for being overweight at the time. I went to my best friend's place and she calmed me down. We hung out with other people until my teacher messaged me. Our class had a WhatsApp chat, saying that my parents are gonna call the cops if I don't come back. At the time I was scared for some reason and called Dad to try and explain what happened, but he didn't listen and had a go at me for being disrespectful. He thought I was just being a moody teen or STH. And told me to come back home. Now I know I should have let them call the cops and then tell them what was going on. Anyway, when I got back home, there was no trace of Dad. He was at work, and Mom was waiting at the door. She told me to pack 2 bags and leave. Then why you tellin' B to come back, stupid? After she called me names and told me how worthless I am as I walked up the stairs to get my things, I just snapped. I told her all the nasty stuff she did to me, and what did she do? At first she denied it. Then she broke down crying. She hugged me and said she loved me. And this is where my acting skills come into play, because I said that I love her too and that I could never hate her. That was the moment all respect I had left for her just disappeared. I just felt empty. And that's how I stayed for most of my days. Not caring about anything. Doing what needs to get done, saying what needs to be said to keep the peace until I moved out at 17. Not to mention that she used to make comments about how kids who run away from their parents don't appreciate what they do for them, etc., to make me feel bad. She even told people that I was the one hitting her. She told my little sister too, who then ran into my room, crying, asking why I would do that, only to then hear me say it was the other way around. Honestly, I have no words left for people like her. All the pain she caused, the mental issues. She's the best example of people who shouldn't have had kids. Ever.